Alright, welcome to Alpha Sapphire and the Hoenn League this time in Gen 6. The remake, obviously. This time we have our team from my full Let's Play of Alpha Sapphire. Next up we'll be using the Omega Ruby Boss Battles team. It looks like the Alpha Sapphire team is pretty high leveled. I must have done some more training against Pokemon League off screen after I was done the series. Or maybe I used them against Wally, I don't know. But anyway, should still be a fun battle. Let's get started against... no, Aaron's the bug guy. Sydney, this is Sydney. A dark type trainer. So I figured I would lead with our Roserade, a grass and poison type, and we'll see what happens here. Alright, Scrafty. We are familiar with him. Let's see, okay, so dark and fighting type. Grass and poison should be a pretty neutral matchup. He does have Intimidate. So yeah, just like that one team we used not too long ago, will be a little bit over leveled, but I think by the time we get the champion, these should still be some pretty fun fights. And like I said, our next team is actually like in the 70s, so that'll be a lot tougher. Alright, so, okay, fighting and dark would make him doubly weak to fairy, I believe. There's no fairy type in Gen 5, but there certainly is in Gen 6. Yep, there we go, super effective. Awesome. Actually, having some fairy type coverage might be really useful here. So, okay. Fairy is still super effective. We could use Sludge Bomb too, but I think Dazzling Gleam will probably do the most damage. Smart to use a flying type though, if this is not a knockout, which it's not. Mandibuzz could do, yeah, some serious damage with, for example, Brave Bird. 120 power flying attack. Let's see how much this does. Okay, decent hit. Now, Mandibuzz did knock itself out with recoil, but that probably doesn't matter too much because it would have died to our next attack anyway. Okay, so the question is really, does he have more Pokemon that can survive a Dazzling Gleam? I don't think he does. Also, I think this is probably his Zoroark in disguise. Because I think his Absol is actually higher level. Yes, it is. Okay. Plus, I think it's his best one, and his Mega Evolution too, so I feel like he wouldn't use it this early on. Alright, Shift Tree. Well, this is good because I can mix it up a little bit. We'll use Sludge Bomb, which is... oh, okay, Fake Out first. Sludge Bomb will also be super effective since Shift Tree is a Grass type, Grass and Dark type. And Sludge Bomb will get the same type attack bonus, since we are also Poison type. Almost level 91. Okay, Sharpedo. Let's go ahead and use Petal Dance. We locked into it, but it's our most powerful attack, so here's a good time to use it. A little bit of damage from Rough Skin, but Lily is hanging in there. And we'll just have to see if his Absol knows Sucker Punch, or if we can make this a clean sweep. And here comes Absol, his best Pokemon. Sure enough, it is Mega Evolving. And I think Mega Absol is faster than regular Absol, but the speed boost doesn't count in the first turn, because you haven't actually Mega Evolved when it decides who goes first. And a critical hit. Not sure if that mattered. Absol is a very strong attacker, especially Mega Absol, but still not known for its defenses. Alright, good job, Lily. It's so much fun to use these teams again. Like, I've missed these guys. Alright. So, against the second trainer would be... is that... no, Glacier's third. Phoebe, the Ghost-type trainer, is next. Let's go ahead and use the Water-type Eve, our Melodic. Another one of probably my top 10 favorite Pokemon. If not top 10, then definitely like top 15. Melodic is a very cool design, very powerful, very elegant, and also a decent move pool. Alright, Phoebe, bring on your ghost types. Excited to see what our Pokemon can do. Starting with Banette. That's right, she does not have a Mega Banette, she has a Mega Sableye. Which really isn't that great, to be honest. I think Mega Banette would have been a better choice, but I'm not a game designer, so what do I know? Alright, all of our moves do neutral damage, so we'll go with Surf since that is our stab attack. And we're also holding Mystic Water. Our Roserade was holding a Miracle Seed too for boosted grass damage. And Miss Magius probably knows Thunderbolt or Energy Ball, one of the two. Had a fun time training Miss Magius as part of my secondary team on Brilliant Diamond. Another really cool Pokemon. It's fast, good special attack. I think decent special defense, although not good enough. And a really nice move pool, too. There's a lot of really good coverage moves. Interesting. Why would you send out a fire type? Well, we're going to keep clicking the surf button and keep knocking out Pokemon. Yeah, this one might be kind of like our very first one where we just had an easy time because we are overleveled and this is a very strong team, but we'll get used to this Pokemon League, and then, like I said, the next one should be a lot harder for sure. In fact, I seem to recall having some trouble with the champion with that team because he is very strong and we didn't really have good type matchups. Dusknoir is very sturdy, it survived, but really couldn't do too much in retaliation. Since Melodic is a very strong Pokemon defensively, especially special defense. Known as one of the bulky waters back in the day, along with like Vaporeon and Slowbro, I think, and probably Swampert at the time. Alright, so she's going to keep using some full restores, but doesn't really matter. We'll eventually get a crit, or more likely she'll run out of full restores. I think she only has 2. So we're a little low on power points, actually. Maybe I should use something else. Probably should use Ice Beam or Dragon Pulse there. But I'm sure I have like Lepa Berries or something I can use after this battle. Level 95, very nice. Part of me just like wants to get these guys to 100. Maybe I'll do that once I transfer them to one of the newer games. Alright, well, here's a good chance to use Ice Beam. I think it should do more damage. Stab and Mystic Water give Surf a big boost, but super effective is still double damage. Goodbye, Drifblim. That's good too, because Drifblim, as we know, has a lot of HP. And here's her Mega Evolution Sableye. Let's see what this little trickster wants to do. Naturally, it's going to Mega Evolve. And Fake Out, okay. Not really a lot of damage. Not sure Fake Out's really worth a move slot, unless you're doing like double battles or triple battles. It's a little bit of free damage, but I mean, you can only use it when you switch in, and it's only like, what, 40 base power? Foul Play is an interesting move. It uses your opponent's attack power instead of yours. Except, let's just use Surf again, one more time. Except Melodic is a special attacker, not an attacker, so really doesn't matter too much. Our attack stat is not actually that good. And just like that, the second member of the Elite Four has been defeated. Okay, let's use a few quick items. Just in case. Got plenty of max potions. Have some PP ups too that I could use, but not really sure what I'd use them on, and I mean, I don't really need to save them, but just for time, I won't do that. PP max. That seems like it's so good, though. But what would I max out? I don't even know. Maybe some of Blaziken's moves? Yay, okay, let's just do it, because yay, why not? Elixir, that should be good enough. Again, I feel like I'm wasting that, but once I transfer over these two teams, decent chance I'll never use the save file again, so which is kind of sad, but also, you know, one day I'll use the save file or this cartridge for something else. Who knows? Maybe my kids will play it one day. Okay, Glacia, oops, wrong menu. A ice type trainer. Let's go ahead and use Dan, a normal type. Right, okay, yep, that should be good. Dan's a lot of fun too, because Exploud is one of those Pokemon you just almost forget about, but I had so much fun raising a Whisper into a Loudred into an Exploud in this game. He's very underrated, because his stats aren't that great, but they're like also not terrible. And his moveset's actually really good, his move pool. And he can learn Boom Burst, which is a super high base power move, so it makes up for having mediocre stats with that super powerful voice-based move. Also, he won a contest, as you can see. He is the most beautiful Exploud in Hoenn. So if you want to see some contests, I also did plenty of those in my full Let's Play. Alright, against Abomasnow, it is a grass and ice type, so I think Flamethrower will do the most damage here, because it's doubly weak to it. One really interesting thing about Exploud and Boom Burst is that Boom Burst is such a powerful move with 140 base power that combined with Stab and and the Silk Scarf means that unless something like resist Boom Burst, it's better than super effective moves. Or if they're like 4 times weak, that might change the math. Like Bear Tick is weak to Flamethrower, but Boom Burst will actually do more damage because it's just so high base power. So Boom Burst it is. Oh, it does have a chance to miss though. And Brick Break. Ah, hang in there, Dan. Alright, that wasn't too bad. The hail damage is starting to chip away at us though. Let's try that again. Oh, it must have... You know what, Boom Burst? I don't think Boom Burst does have a chance to miss. I was wondering that, and then I was thinking like... I was thinking it didn't until I saw it miss. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe it was like 90 or 95% or something. Alright, one more go. Boom Burst! Yes, okay, good job, Dan. What I think is happening here is Bear Tick must have like Snow Veil, the ability that makes you have higher evasion during a hailstorm. So we just got really unlucky there with those 2 misses, but that's okay, Dan. We all have off days, and you did really good at the end there, taking down that Bear Tick. Frostlass. Frostlass is fast, and being a ghost type, unfortunately is immune to Boom Burst. So this is why we have coverage moves like Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, and Surf. I think Flamethrower has a higher base power though, so let's use that. And I really hope it's a one-hit knockout. Yes, it is. Good job, X-Cloud. This is what I mean by saying X-Cloud is underrated. And the hail stopped. Good timing. Okay. Walrein. So nothing we have is super effective against Walrein. Walrein I'm planning to train a bit of a teaser in my Platinum boss battle series. I think it'd be really cool to use a bunch of like Hoenn Pokemon in Platinum setting. Just because there's a lot of cool Pokemon from Hoenn that I haven't trained since I was like a kid. Not quite a knockout, but that's okay, Dan. You did a great job. Let's give somebody else a chance to shine. Alright, we're facing an Ice-type trainer. Let's go ahead and bring in our Resident Fire-type for the Blaziken, our starter. So I think it'd be really fun that instead of doing like another Hoenn-based game with 6 fun Hoenn Pokemon, I'm going to do one with... I'm going to do a Platinum game just to mix it up. I can be like a trainer from Hoenn or P-Wise. Alright, let's use High Jump Kick because it is super effective and I hope it doesn't miss. And I think Walrein can also have the ability Thick Fat, which means instead of taking neutral damage from fire attacks, it'll take half damage. Alright, it's a hit. Good job. Again, always a risky move because if you miss it, you take half your health. Although with the full restore, you would have had another chance to attack. So, and Vanillix. Alright, let's not risk missing High Jump Kick. Let's use Flare Blitz, our other stab attack. Blaziken is a really strong, powerful Pokemon too. It can learn 2 very good stab attacks with High Jump Kick and Flare Blitz. 130 and 120 base power respectively. Alright, and her last Pokemon will be Mega Glalie. It's a pretty strong Pokemon, but I think being somewhat of a higher level, well, they're getting a little bit closer. I think Flare Blitz should still be enough for a one-hit knockout. Alright. Oh, Protect, okay. Good thing I didn't use High Jump Kick. I'm pretty sure that if the enemy uses Protect, it counts as a miss, and you take that recoil damage, because you don't connect. Alright, forward one last time. Flare Blitz. Give it all you got. I think we're holding either Expert Belt or Charcoal. Probably Expert Belt, but either way we should have a 20% boost to Flare Blitz, so nicely done. Good job, Dan. Good job, Ford. And lots of Poké Dollars or Poké Yen that we won't actually use. And just like that, we're more than halfway done. So I'll have to use a Revive this time. That was just some bad luck, though, with those Boom Burst misses. That wasn't Dan's fault. And now we're down to our final 2 Pokemon here. So, debating who to use. Do we fight Dragon with Dragon? But it's also our Mega Evolution. Let's use Metagross. Let's use Slate, and then we'll switch in Ava if we need to. Metagross is yet another pseudo-legendary, one of the few non-dragon pseudo-legendaries. I think, is it still just Metagross and Tyranitar? I feel like there might be another one, but no. No, actually I think every other pseudo-legendary is dragon type. Which is fine by me, because I love dragon types, but I do feel bad for people who like wish there was like a water or a fire or something pseudo-legendary. Alright, Slate, here we go. Slate is not holding a Mega Stone because you can only have 1 Mega Evolution per team. And that's our Altaria Ava. I think you can... I'm not sure if you can hold 2 Mega Stones. I feel like you probably can. But it's just kind of a waste thing because you can only choose to use one of them, and for the other Pokemon it becomes like a useless held item. Ironically, he's leading with his Altaria, but that is not his Mega Evolution. Salamence is his Mega Evolution. So we're going to use Rock Polish. We are already faster than Altaria, because Altaria is not that fast. At least not in its unevolved form. And Cotton Guard will increase its defenses, so good move there. But let's see if we can still break through with good old Meteor Mash. And this Metagross is holding the Wide Lens, which will increase our accuracy. So I think normally Meteor Mash is 90% accuracy, and this will make it 99% accurate. So it didn't do too much damage, but let's use Zen Headbutt. I think that's also... Wait, I don't know. I want to say Meteor Mash is like 85%, so maybe it's only like 93.5% accurate now. Whereas I feel like Zen Headbutt is a higher accuracy. Alright, the question's going to be, was that enough to knock it out after one more hit? I don't want to knock them... I don't want to like Altaria to live with like 1 HP, because then he's going to use a full restore. So let's go for Meteor Mash. Also with Meteor Mash we have a small chance at an attack boost, which would be cool. Although, of course we also have a slightly higher miss chance, even with the Wide Lens. Haxorus, a very strong dragon type that we've also faced recently. It's cool how like in these remakes, in these Gen 6 remakes, they can use Pokemon from like all the previous generations, even Generation 5. I like the diversity on their teams. Alright, this Haxorus is pretty tough. Decent defense stat. Earthquake did a lot of damage, but luckily our defense is also very high. Let's actually use Earthquake. He's probably, in fact, almost certainly going to use a full restore. But that's okay. We'll just use maybe 2 Earthquakes if they're enough to knock it out. It might not be, though. Yes, it will. Okay. I'm just using Earthquake because it's our only move that has perfect coverage. And I can't remember at this point if... I think Wide Lens is only 10% increase, and I think that means it's not 100% with Meteor Mash or Zen Headbutt, but I could be wrong. It could be 20%, or their accuracy might be high enough where they're both like 99%. I don't know. I could probably check, but it doesn't matter all that much. Alright, Flygon, another Pokemon that I'm excited to train. This one in our upcoming Heart Gold, or sorry, Soul Silver boss battle series. And there we go, an attack boost. That'll come in very handy for the rest of his team. Good job, Slate. Dragaggle, a Gen 6 Pokemon, Poison and Dragon. Does Poison resist Steel? I don't think it does, but Poison is weak to ground and also Psychic. So this will give us a chance to use our other stab moves and Headbutt. And with that attack drop, that'll certainly be a knockout. I imagine it would have anyway. It's cool there's a Poison type, especially with like Fairy types so big in the game. Dragaggle is a little bit slow though, so I'll probably train one at some point, but not yet. Alright, so Kingdra. Well, this will be interesting. So Meteor Mash is not very effective because Steel's not good against water types, so Zen Headbutt it is. I think with the attack boost, we probably should be able to knock it out, being a higher level. Yes, okay, good. But as we know from our team, our previous team, from Heart Gold, Kingdra is fairly bulky. And here we go. Yes, that's perfect. My brain went through that like a second before it happened. I was like, oh no, Intimidate, it's going to lower our attack back. And I was like, wait, I have the Clear Body ability, so no it won't. Alright, let's do it, Slate. Come on, Meteor Mash. And Salamence is going to Mega Evolve, which I believe will make it tougher, so... Let's see if this boosted Meteor Mash... First, does it hit? It does. Thank you, Wide Lens. And will it be a one-hit knockout? I think it should be. Yes, a critical hit. Okay, I don't think that mattered, but it could. I'm not really sure. But I think with the attack drop, it still would have been enough. I'm sorry, the attack boost. So good job, Metagross. Okay, we have now used everybody except our own Mega Evolution. So let's use a quick Hyper Potion on Slate. Hopefully we have enough Meteor Mashes, but you know what? Why not? Yay, okay. Use it or lose it, right? And yep, we've used everybody else in the team so far. So let's bring out our own Dragon type, our Mega Evolution Altaria, and I'm just going to double check that Altaria has the Altarianite. Yes, she does. Okay, awesome. And you can see we have the move Return there, which is a normal attack because Mega Altaria's ability is Pixelate, which makes all normal attacks Fairy type and gives them a 30% boost. In later gens, they nerfed that a little bit to 20%, which honestly is fair. It's already very powerful. Because with our ability, that gives us like a 133 base power move or something like that. All right, Steven Stone, champion of Hoenn. Bring it on. Short and to the point. I appreciate that. We still have, I think, 2 more leagues to go before I can actually start transferring. And Skarmory. Same Pokemon he always leads with. Now, interestingly, yeah, I don't. My brain wasn't thinking about Steven Stone for this, to be honest with you. I don't know who I was thinking was the champion. I honestly just wasn't really thinking about it. I was thinking it was somebody who used like diverse Pokemon. That's weird that I just didn't even like stop to think, oh, it's Steven Stone. Maybe I was thinking it was Wallace, but I think, yeah, I don't even think I thought that far ahead. Anyway, luckily we do have some coverage moves here, because Steel obviously resists Fairy type, which return will be Earthquake doesn't work against flying types, so we have a Flamethrower for these situations. And of course we're going to Mega Evolve. And I guess being part Fairy type, we're actually weak to Steel too, so if I would have thought of that, I might have used Ava for a different part of the league. But we're here now, let's see what she can do. I think she can still do some serious damage. Alright, not quite a one-hit knockout. Skarmory does have the ability Sturdy. And yep, there's the Steel Wing, not surprisingly. Maybe we shouldn't have Mega Evolved. We might have taken less damage because it wouldn't be super effective. Now Steven's probably going to use a full restore. Yeah, which is stupid because you're wasting a full restore, because we're just going to repeat what just happened. Yes, let's see. What types are Fairy? Is Fairy not very effective against? It's not good against Poison, not good against Steel. Earthquake is good against both those types. And then Flamethrower is also good against Steel. It's also not good against Fire. Again, Earthquake. So really, Fairy and Ground is really good coverage. Are there any Fairy and Ground type Pokemon? There's gotta be, right? I can't think of any, but I'm sure there's somebody obvious that I'm forgetting. Fairy and Ground type. I mean, we would have a lot of weaknesses, I think. Although, I think Ground resists Poison. Or maybe that's just Rock that resists Poison. I don't know. Alright, we are against Agrin. Let's see if this Agrin has Sturdy. I'm guessing it does. I really wouldn't mind if this one had Rockhead, but yeah, I thought so. Another Sturdy Pokemon, which is annoying because... Oh, a dodge! Yes, good job, Ava. Good job. Okay. Let's go ahead and use Return. I think he's probably going to use another full restore. No, he didn't. Okay. I wonder if either he only has one, or does he program not to use them too early in the battle? Maybe it's just like a chance thing. I think in Gen 1 it's like a chance to use their item. Alright, and Carbink. Okay. Carbink is a Fairy and Rock type, so I think Earthquake will be the most damage here. Because we're not holding a Hell item, because obviously we're holding the Voltarianite. So let's see, Return with our Fairy boost is what I said, 130, 133. Plus Stab. Actually, that might be more damage. Yeah, that's going to be more damage, I think. As long as we're max friendship, and I'm pretty sure we are. Yeah, let's go ahead. No, wait a minute. Okay, yes. My brain like hesitated because like, don't hit a normal type move against a rock type, but this is not actually a normal attack because it is pixelated, it is a fairy attack. And Moonblast is going to be super effective because we are a dragon type. Luckily, Ava is very bulky. So I'm going to go ahead and be a little bit risky here. We have Roost, let's use it. And a full restore. Okay, cool. I was a little worried about Carbink using Moonblast again and getting, I think it's a special attack drop. Well, that wouldn't really matter because we're not a special attacker. I guess Flamethrower, but that still wouldn't be the end of the world. So, alright, good choice. Let's use Earthquake here. Just in case my math was messed up somehow and this does more damage. I don't think it will, but yeah, so as you can tell, even though Earthquake is super effective, 100 base damage times 2 is 200, whereas Return is base 100-ish, plus 30%, plus another 50%, it ends up being higher. Or times another 50%, I should say. Alright, let's use Return again. Our most powerful attack. Yeah, Pixelate and Refrigerate and those type of moves are very, very strong. Aerodactyl, okay. Another rock type. Yeah, Steven, despite being a steel trainer, has a lot of rock types. So Aerodactyl is probably going to be faster. It's very fast. It's kind of what it's known for. Yeah, our only really choice is Return. That's what I would use anyway. Ice Fang is super effective. So don't flinch or freeze. Don't flinch or freeze. Don't flinch or freeze. Yes, okay. That would have been very sad for us to flinch or freeze during our final battle. And Ice Fang has a chance to do both. And Cladle, alright. Cladle is a ground and psychic type. I'm kind of curious. I'm worried I'm going to use return, and Cladle's going to use like psychic, and I don't think that would be enough to knock me out. So I guess the downside of using Roost is it could use like Thunder Wave, which would be annoying. It could use Reflector Light Screen, which is probably what it's going to do. Let's go ahead and use Return. If we don't knock him out, I think we can survive a Psychic or something. Reflect, okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to just like stall for time a little bit here. We have 5 turns on Reflect. We have Roost. Cladle is a defensive Pokemon. It really can't do too much to attack you. It might have Ice Beam, but if it has Reflect and... Yeah, if it has Reflect and Light Screen, only has 2 move slots left. So probably like Earth Power and Psychic or something like that. Yeah, so I play my cards right here. It's a little bit boring, but we can just stall off the Reflect. And Earth Power feels like it shouldn't affect Altaria. We are no longer a flying type, and we don't have the ability to levitate, so it actually does affect us. And I'm not sure if Cladle is holding the Light Clay item. If it does, it actually lasts 8 turns. So luckily we have lots of Roosts. And I think Earth Power can lower our special defense. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Because then future Earth Powers will do more damage. Crit I really don't care about because we can still keep roosting. Ironically, if we were flying type, Roost would make us susceptible to ground type attacks. Okay, Reflect wore off. I wanted to see that instead of just trying to count it because the number of turns would be different if he had a Light Clay, or if it had a Light Clay. Alright, and now we'll use Return, finishing off this Cladle, and good job, Ava the Altaria, taking out 5 of his Pokemon despite being weak against his type. Goes to show what a strong Pokemon Mega Altaria is. Now, this is going to be a lot harder, because his Metagross does have a Metagross Sight and can Mega Evolve, and can easily sweep an unprepared team. Obviously, Fairy is not very effective, so let's go for... Oh, I don't know. Let's go for Flamethrower. Because I feel like, especially once it Mega Evolves, its defense will be super high. And while I think our attack is higher, it's not like that much higher than our special attack, from what I recall. Plus we have a small burn chance too, which would be awesome. Alright, Meteor Mash, that is a ton of damage for Mega Metagross, but good job Ava, you put in a lot of work, get some good rest. And now it's time for us to bring in one more Pokemon, so... Oh, who should we bring in here? Let's go ahead and bring in Ford, our starter. Then we can hit him with a super effective Flare Blitz. Alright, Ford for Hoenn. Let's do this. One more Flare Blitz. We are faster. Blaziken is also pretty fast. Down goes Mega Metagross, and down goes Champion Steven Stone. And a little bit of recoil damage for the road. Alright, well hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, we'll be facing this league one more time, but with a very different team, and a much lower level team too, so those will be tougher battles. So, stay tuned for that.